Hello, everybody. Sorry, I was going to be on time, and then OBS crashed. Who knew? The setup back here is somewhat complicated, so I guess I can't be totally surprised that problems occur. They've been occurring more frequently than I'd like. So I've heard about some OBS alternatives. I might have to check them out. It does appear that everything is working well now. Forgive me if I'm looking back and forth between the camera and the laptop, but this is where your chats come in, and this is where I address you. So I'm going to be looking back and forth a little bit, and I'm going to switch screens now just to see that everything is going okay. Good morning there, Mark, Mr. Freeman from San Diego, California. I hope that you are doing well. It is a cool, perhaps not cold, morning here in sunny Northern California. I'm Mark. I'm having a bit of a throwback Wednesday. I'm enjoying a bit of Mocha Java from Pete's Coffee, going back a little second wave coffee, and I'm gotta check in. Normally I wouldn't use my phone. Okay, cool. I think the mug, I'm shocked at how much I enjoy the Ember mug. And especially on days like today where I'm doing a lot of talking and I'm putting the coffee away for a little bit. It's nice that it keeps things warm, but it's not like doing its thing. Normally it is absolutely bomb-proof when it comes to like kicking it on and going up to temperature, but it like didn't like see the coffee or something. But I think it's heating it up, so that's cool. Anyway, if you see me like shotgun a mug of coffee in half an hour's time, it's because it's gotten cold. Anyway, and truly the nice thing about that is that I can make it so that it's just the right temperature. It's easy to have a cup of coffee that's too hot. And the real bummer about beverages and singing is the temperature. If it's too hot, then it's going to create like a mucal reaction with your vocal folds. That's not good. If it's too cold, I'm not sure what the downsides of it being too cold are, although it can be kind of irritating, but you really want room temperature water, like that's your best friend. When teas, coffees, and things like that are a little bit on the hot side, that's kind of okay, but not ideal. I'm not doing any like real critical singing today, so it's fine. Or if I were, it wouldn't be till later anyway. Anyway, this is your live event. This is open to all the subscribers here on the channel. So ask me your questions, Gatekeeper. I am not afraid. Hello from Louisiana. Hello, back right at you. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. For you, I suppose, I think you're in Eastern time zone. So it's the afternoon for you. Here it's the morning. Sauron 17. I'm not sure which is more ominous, that Sauron has entered the chat or that there are 17 additional Saurons running around out there. But hello. Chilly in San Diego as well. Yeah, but boy, when San Diego's so beautiful, it's just that is like when you think about California, that's what you're thinking of. You know, go to the beach here in NorCal. That's not the beach you're thinking of. Hello from Paris. So I suppose for you it's bonne soirée. J'espère que tu allais bien. Tu vas bien. Tu es bien. Je suis un peu inquiet quand je parle français, mais j'essaie de parler plus bien, mieux. Excusez-moi. Mieux. Alors, je parle quand j'ai la chance. Coffee today is Gualamon from Peerless. Yes, Peerless. I do love Peerless. And I haven't bought coffee there in a while. Anyway, let's see what's going on here. The cold gives you hiccups. I've heard of that before. Ah, merci, Elise. Merci bien. Tu es vraiment génial. Non, vous êtes vraiment génial. Excusez-moi. Euh, euh, c'est plus important d'utiliser la propre forme de le nom quand je parle avec une personne que je ne le connais pas. Je ne connais pas très bien. Ouais? Merci. Alors, Shanti Cook. Hi from Long Island. Cool. Long Island, New York. First, thank you for all your shared wisdom. You're very welcome. And I have a question. Is it true that doing vocal exercises that are lower than your register... say first... Okay, so let's see. Where's the rest of that question? Is it true that doing vocal exercises that are lower than your register, doing tenor warm-up... I think I need more of that question. I don't think that's the whole question. I'm not sure what the question is. You see, the thing of it is that there's like a lot of overlap in the vocal ranges. It's not as if like soprano's in like a totally different area of the voice than like a tenor. You know, case in point, like a soprano, okay? Sopranos will have their primo passaggio here, and like they'll sing to a C, and then of course they've got all this other space out here, right? And tenors exist pretty comfortably from about here to here. So you have this like whole area of overlap between the two. So depending on the warm-up that you chose, it may be that that you're just kind of working in your regular range, quite frankly. But maybe elaborate on that a little bit, and I can speak more to it. UK, Paulina, hello. I'm gonna be out there in the not terribly distant future. Truly looking forward to it. Yeah, really looking forward to that. A.J. Weber, do you do exercises for practicing consistent airflow pressure area placement inside of your mouth? Well, I apologize. Maybe I'm being a little bit obtuse, or I haven't had enough coffee, but I'm just not understanding the questions. Do you do an exercise for practicing consistent airflow pressure area placement inside of your mouth? Not really, no. I mean, I don't really think much at all about the inside of my mouth, except that I try to keep my jaw as released as I can, and I am fairly conscious of like the placement of my tongue. Like, because the tongue will have a lot of impact on the resonance, like the sounds and things like that. So if your tongue is too high or too low, depending on the vowel that you're singing, then it can have a really negative impact on the... Sorry, I'm watching the chat, and like this... I said like the stream elements is being like really obnoxious this morning. I'm gonna have to adjust that. It's not normally like that, so apologies for that. I don't know if something changed when I wasn't aware of it. I've never seen it be quite so aggressive, so apologies for that. I'm not gonna take the time to fuss with it right now. Consistent airflow pressure. So yeah, I'm when I'm thinking about the flow of air, I'm focused more lower down. So I'm trying to maintain my lateral expansion and also maintain the consistency of my engagement. Any scale exercises with sustained notes that draw you back on pitch? Well, no. If I heard that, and I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean go flat, or draw you back on pitch? I really don't know what you mean by that. I'm so sorry. But if you mean go flat, well, no. If I heard myself going flat, then I would work on it. I would figure out like, oh, well, what's happening here? Why is that occurring? Am I too tight? Am I tired? Am I sleepy? Do I have phlegm on my vocal folds? Like, what's going on? So that I can adjust that, so I can fix it. There are several songs in my repertoire that I need to sing a cappella. I'm looking for advice and exercises for ear training. I mean, solfege is the main way to approach that. Any and all solfege exercises, like just, you could do the songs with solfege syllables, which would help really make you aware of the tonal centers. You could just work on solfege in general so that you are increasing the accuracy of your, again, like the relative pitch aspects of what you're doing, and also making sure that you're maintaining the tonal center as best as you can. Even the best a cappella artists will kind of slide when they're singing a cappella without a reference pitch. That's totally normal. It's just a question of sort of mitigating as much of that sliding as you possibly can. So yeah, solfege, I would recommend solfege. I would convert the pieces to solfege and then sing them that way. You could even go so far as to sing the pieces with solfege and use a drone that's on the tonic to help you stay centered, and then remove the drone as practice and then see how you do and stuff like that. You can also do that like at the piano. So like, let's say like that would be the tonic of the key I'm in. Pardon me. Do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, so, do. And then do the same thing. Do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, so, do. And then you play the tone at the end and see like, oh, like I did pretty well there. Or, oh, I didn't do so well. Do, mi, so, la, so, fa, mi, re, ti, la, so, re, do. Sorry about that. I am not together this morning. I am someplace a little bit else. It's kind of funny. I think to be fair, like, I study French. I love French. I love studying the language. I've been to France several times and I do enjoy it. It makes me anxious. Like I get that that's the sort of new territory for me and my performance anxiety. And so I take French lessons, and sometimes I get so gripped that I just have to kind of look away from my teacher and take a few moments, take a few breaths, and then I can come back and start to collect my thoughts. Don't know why. Oh, great, Mark. My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah. Solfege, it's one of those things that, a little bit goes a long way. 5 minutes a day. And again, and I do truly mean a day. So 5 minutes a day. That's all. And I would suspect that in about 2 to 3 weeks, you'll start to see improvements. You'll start to generate more acuity to your tonal center, and it will help a lot. So yeah, I would start there. Right. So I'm kind of hoping. Here's AJ Weber. Like tuning a guitar, you compare sustained notes. Like playing a piano key, letting it ring, vocalizing to it. Well, okay. So, AJ Weber. I mean, if you're playing a piano key and you're vocalizing to it and you're going off pitch, that can be for any number of different reasons. And when you say you return back to alignment, that is not like that's not intonation. Alignment is in vocal parlance. Alignment is about whether or not your vowels are, shall we say, and again, like language really gets in the way of these things. But alignment is about the consistent. One could say consistency from one vowel to the next, but it is also the appropriate configuration of the vocal folds for a given range. So, if I'm here, those vowels, we would say that those are in alignment. Alignment, when we talk about alignment, it doesn't really, you could still be out of tune and have good vowel alignment, but your intonation would be poor. Now, usually, if you have good vowel alignment, your intonation is good too, but they are separate things. So, when you're tuning a guitar and you're playing notes, you know, and again, too, like, you don't have to sustain a note on a guitar to tune it. You could pluck it and listen to it and say, okay, I can hear that that's flat, or I can hear it's sharp as compared to the other one. Make an adjustment and pluck it again. And then do, and wash, rinse, repeat. Now, generally speaking, yes, we do sustain them. And in so doing, you can hear the beats, the discrepancies in the waveforms between one and the other so that you can reconcile them. In singing, though, when you're sustaining pitches, there are so many variables in play that I guess one might say we sort of separate out the different skills so we can talk about them hopefully in a more productive capacity. Alignment being the shape and formations of the vowels. And then intonation is a separate matter. It's fair also to keep in mind that when you're in a different range of your voice, the alignment changes. Hopefully you can hear me modifying those vowels as I get into my zona de passaggio. You would say that I am still in alignment, even though I have changed things. This is one of those challenging paradoxes that we have in sounding, in talking about consistency for singing. If you wish to be consistent, then you have to change things as you ascend, right? That seems crazy. And I can see by your next note that I'm afraid, no, you don't have it. I'm so sorry, but that's not it. Notes are notes. Intonation is the frequency, the specific frequency. So one would say that if you are in tune, you are matching frequencies. But the note may not, like that's G, that's an A, that's a B flat, that's a D. Those are the notes. Intonation is whether or not they are in tune. I was playing a G and I was singing a G. There, I was singing a G, but I was flat. I was playing a G too, and then I fixed it at the end. I'm still singing a G. It's just that it's out of tune. So intonation is a separate matter. So an exercise where you practice maintaining intonation over a whole bar. Well, no, not really. Those exercises, it is somewhat implicit that, and maybe what we're really getting at here is a fundamental difference in the way that I think about intonation for singing. And here it is. If you're singing out of tune, it is more a reflection of your technique than it is the fact that you are I suspect you're not choosing to sing out of tune like I just did. That's a different matter, right? Like I was choosing to do something different. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that, and I don't know, maybe, well, okay, and now I see your next comment, AJ Weber, and yes, you're very welcome. My pleasure. It is always my intention to communicate the information. Your questions are, we've kind of whittled it down to get to what we're after. And so I think, and again, chime in, but I think the point here is that if, let's just say, and now I don't know, maybe you practice ear training. If you're practicing ear training, and I do mean solfege, like literally what I was doing, showing Mark that stuff earlier, that's seriously practicing ear training. Okay, you can also do critical listening, where you're like listening critically to a melody or a song. That's cool. That's not ear training. If you're critically listening to the song and then you are transcribing the notes of the melody in solfege, that can be an ear training exercise. There's a difference there. So let's just say that if you're not doing ear training, start 5 minutes a day. Nothing fancy, okay? And intonation, in my opinion, for the vocalist is more a reflection of their technique, not their desire or ability to sing in tune. The fact of the matter is that the more advanced as a vocalist you become, and especially as you make your way up into higher and higher ranges of your voice, if you're trying to quote-unquote place those notes, you will almost always be out of tune. What is a more productive and reliable way to sing those pitches is to try to adopt the environment that will facilitate the system achieving those pitches. So we trust that we know what the notes of them, we trust that we know what we wish to hear, that our ear is going to serve us well. And then we try to create the environment so that our bodies can produce it. This is largely staying out of the way of the vocal fold, because as you ask it to sing higher and higher and it's vibrating faster and faster, even a slight amount of muscle tension will dampen its resonance down, dampen the frequency, make it vibrate more slowly because it's heavy, and you'll go out of tune. So, yeah, like if you're having intonation issues, then look at your ear training and look at your technique. There are some exercises that I do from time to time that are more sustained. But those are done, in a comfortable range. And what we're listening for is consistency across the vowels and a nice little crescendo and stuff like that. Elise, I hope I didn't scare you away with my extended French bit there. One of the things that I'm doing to sort of challenge myself, to challenge my fears around French, is to speak it when I have the opportunity. So please forgive me if I scared you away. Okay. Paceman. I've noticed when you do the oo consonant. Okay, so oo is a vowel. You sort of sound closer to the French u, which is a much higher voicing than the oo. Are you thinking more? I'm thinking more of an umlaut, because we've all got that one vowel, right? Like, most of us have that one vowel that is like an issue. For me, it's oo. Used to be basically, I mean, everything. My initial studies were awful. But yeah, I think about it more like an umlaut. Because I want that vowel to be aligned, and I am more concerned with it being closed off. I am more concerned with it doing that than I am with it being an umlaut. I'd much rather have it be more umlaut-like than closed and take that hit on volume and consistency from one vowel to the next. Keep in mind that, you know, there's no there is sort of vowel neutrality. In other words, you can find neutral modes of phonation for the 5 cardinal vowels for your vocal exercises. That's the goal. But different schools of voice are going to kind of argue on where that is. And once you get out into the world proper, in a very real sense, kind of all bets are off. You know, if you're singing in a choir, then your choir director may want a specific thing because that's what they want. That's what they were taught. They believe it's true. Cool. That's cool. Somebody else is primarily doing cover songs, and it doesn't matter. So they're going to do a different thing. That's cool too. You know, there comes a cost when you make those concessions, but as long as you're aware of it and you're comfortable with that, that's fine. Like, vocal technique, in my opinion, should enable us to sing what we wish to sing and be a bit more adaptable so that we're not always doing the same thing. This is the chief argument that I would make around belting. I get lots and lots of questions, lots of comments about, like, I would like to belt, I want to work on my belted voice, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's cool. If that's what you want, like, more power to you. There are certain concessions that you make when you do that. And I would humbly propose that you also work on making your transition of your secondo passaggio into voce piena in testa, the sound of chest, voice, and head, smooth, so that you have that as an option as well. Okay, in right, Shanif, thank you, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, but yes, well, you can do the lower exercises, but you have to do them differently. If you try to, like, press into the bottom end, then you're gonna cause issues, and you're probably not gonna get the results that you're looking for. It's just gonna sound kind of out of alignment and strained a little bit. And straining down there, in many respects, is just as bad as straining on the top. So if you're gonna do something like that, then just think about being lighter and brighter. It's the same way that I approach my lower end. Light and bright. I'm not ever going to have the kind of big, rotund sounds that you might get from a baritone or a bass vocalist. That's okay. Like, I've got my voice. I love my voice. And that's cool. We each get our own voices. Never going to be another one like it. So, by all means, expand your horizons, but remember where you are. And remember what it is that you're working with. And play to your strengths to expand or enhance those areas that you wish to expand or enhance upon, right? So I'm not going to get much good stuff if I try to, like really raw, sink into the bottom end of my voice. On the other hand, that has a future. That's cool. So that would be my suggested approach. Yeah, the chordal exercise, I'm just responding to AJ Weber and Mark Freeman. I do enjoy that one as well. And as long as Pac-Man Rocks 100, as long as we got that the vowel thing sorted out, that's fine. All good. How do you develop your lower voice? That's the Shanith question. Fair enough. Thanks for answering. My pleasure. That is the name of the game today. We got a few more minutes left. It's been a quieter coffee hour, which is kind of nice. I start to feel a bit anxious when like loads and loads of questions pop up, and I know I don't always have enough time to answer them all. So this is cool. Do you have a system for yourself to work on areas where you're weak systematically? Yeah, I mean, okay, I say this in all humility. My vocalizations are pretty tight. Like, I know how that sounds, and please forgive me, but that's not usually where it's at. What I will do is I will write or choose songs that have specific, that I know are really difficult, and I will make the melodies reflect those challenges that I wish to keep on top of, challenge myself, get better at. I'm thinking of a song that I'm working on right now, and I may have hosed myself on this one. It's, and then you get into this. I can show you on the piano. So you've got this melody. All hovering right here in the zona de passaggio. My secondo passaggio is about here. So I'm like right on top of it. And then descending from A flat down to F. In the pre-chorus, that's the chorus. Just over and over again. And then I go through a modal shift. To sort of even up the ante a little bit more. So what am I looking for here? I want tonal onsets in and around so like at the secondo passaggio and in the zona de passaggio. And if anything, on a descending phrase with sustained pitches, it is so easy to get tight and so very easy to go flat and have any number of other things. And that's what I'm challenging myself to get better at there. So that's usually what I'm doing when I feel like I want to be even better at something, or I'm concerned that I have some kind of like, I don't know, deficiency or something like that, then that's what I'll do is I'll write a song that specifically addresses that area and work on it. But at any rate, yeah, like I've been working on some vocalizations to just get up to speed on that song and working on the song, and it's challenging. Like it's really, really challenging. I've done the test recordings are okay, but they're not what I want them to be, so I have to keep on going. And yeah. But the systems are all like the same stuff that I show you here on YouTube or in the courses and stuff like that. Like all those, the systems are all the same, So I'll take those melodies that I just played for you and I'll move them around, transpose them. I'll do them on the lip trill, solid vowel sounds. I'll take the vowels from the phrases, all that kind of stuff. That's it. Same stuff that I show you here. All right. Let's say last call for questions here because I'm going to get going and I've got some lessons coming up pretty soon, so I have to go and teach them. So if anyone else has anything, pop in the chat there and let me know. Otherwise, we're going to wrap things up for today. I'm going to try and do these sort of general all-call live events more frequently. I've done numerous live events since January, but this is the first live event since, like, the sort of general live event. Anyway, yeah, what's up, Patrick? Hey, AJ Weber, thank you for that. I appreciate that. You have a wonderful day, too. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for hanging with me on that. How do I get to RVC? Is that different from the Discord chat? Yeah, it's different from the Discord chat. Mark, if you log into your account on jeffrolka.com and then go to your library, like where the courses and stuff are, it'll be there. If it's not, let me know, and we'll sort that out. For those of you who are wondering what the RVC is, it's a better way to talk about Rolka's vocal community. Because when I made the website, that was like the only thing I could think of at the time. Anyway, it's a closed community. You can join it if you want. It's just that it's not free. And basically, the big advantage there is that you can post audio and video, so I can help out. Regarding modify vowels or vowel modification, is it fair to say the higher you sing in your range, the taller you make each? Could I describe what modifying for each vowel open and closed? I mean, I don't that's I could. I don't really have the time right this second to do that, I'm sorry to say. But what I can tell you is this. Well, thank you. I'm glad to have made a difference. I do appreciate that. I would shrug away from the taller idea. A lot of people use that, and there's a certain element of truth to it, but not everyone feels it that way. And so if you've got someone that doesn't jive with that language, then they can really get stuck. So if taller is working for you, that's cool, but that's a separate matter from the actual modification of the vowels. What I would suggest you do is hold on. So Patrick, here we go. You can take a screenshot of this. All right. I'm going to switch cameras here. Hopefully I won't get in trouble for this. Okay. So you should be able to see that now. Okay. Try and get that more centered. That is a vowel chart. And you'll see the 5 cardinal vowels on there. and you will see narrow to wide, and then goes back to narrow. So you've got forward focusing vowels like E, which is narrow, and you have rearward focusing vowels like oo, and that's narrow too. And the other thing that you can look at, and I don't know what the orientation is probably going to be weird, but look at this. This is the IPA. This is only part of it. It's the International Phonetic Alphabet. And this is the alphabet that they came up with to try to make it so that you could sing opera songs no matter what language you speak. So if you don't know Italian, then they can write it in IPA symbols and you can still pronounce it correctly. Okay? And if you look at this, it goes E, so keen, thin, chaos, bet, bat, task, father. So you've gone from narrow, E, keen, narrow, forward-facing narrow, E, all the way to father. Those are all your modifications as you approach the vowel, the various vowels that you would go through. And so when you modify vowels on an ascending phrase, you're thinking about the vowel that you're singing and what's the sort of next step along the way that you're going to modify it towards as you ascend. So if you are singing E and you're approaching the zona de passaggio, you're going to start blending it towards an I sound as if it's from the word thin to modify it. I hope that helps. I bet it's funny. I should have just not said anything and said, okay, here's how we'll do this. Because, of course, I've just done exactly what you asked me to do, which is I've given you the tools, at least, to take a look at the vowels, the modifications, and the sort of progression. But basically, the further you go up, the more that you're modifying things until once you're beyond the secondo passaggio, there's no narrow, pure vowels any longer. And it's all, I always think of it as sort of ah-like. It's all kind of underpinned with ah. And I'm mostly singing the ah vowel with shadings of whatever the original vowel was. So I'm never going to sing like an E on an A above middle C. It's going to be ah with me thinking about singing the E vowel without really trying to do it. Your plan all along. Brilliant. Brilliant. Anyways, my city just did Light in the Piazza. Could you share the name of the book by chance? Oh, yeah. I'm not entirely familiar with that piece. I'd have to look it up, but I hope it was awesome. This is Training Tenor Voices by Richard Miller. It's long since out of print. I would just keep your eyes open for it. Used, it can be silly expensive. And it's not a big book. But if you're, if singing is what you do, or it's what you teach, or you're studying, this is probably, of all the textbooks I have, the most concise collection of information that I have come across. And as far as I know, none of it has been refuted. In other words, the studies and the practices and the explanations are all just as valid today as they were when it was made. So yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Have a great day. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to go. Yeah. Elise, je suis désolé si je parle français trop mal. Alors, au revoir. Have a good day. Bonne chance.